Welcome to July 2024. We are now coming into a time that I talked about in December last year. In the forecast, I commented that this is now ushering, the spirit of truth. So, what does this mean? This means that these last 6 months were there for us to overcome basically the pain of the past, as I called it in December. It's more so our attachment to it. And that is something that we've all already learned can function as a filter, as an ego filter. It can hold us back. It can keep us stuck. It can make us feel like we're never really getting anywhere. And that is not necessarily because of what is real. It may feel real, but it's not actually real. It's what we're holding on to. And here in July, there is a change in that we will all feel. And actually, most of you have already felt this. This is already happening here in June right now. And I can see just through our conversations how many of you are already translating, how you really work this and begin to lose your fear of change. Yeah, this is one of the hardest things for us humans to overcome, and especially we're going to talk about this later a little bit more. What it means to be a pioneer, like somebody who participates in paving the way for something that is not. How does that feel, or how does that play out in our lives? I don't really need to tell you because you have lived it, namely this feeling that you never truly belong, the feeling that how you see reality doesn't match up with how other people see reality, and the fear that is deeply ingrained that comes with this, the fear of rejection and the fear of maybe being seen as crazy or an outcast. And I can assure you that these times are over now. All right, this sort of trauma of the empath, or the trauma of the energetically sensitive of the past, is done. We need to let that go. You will now recognize what it is that you have been feeling, that you have been following, that has been knocking on your your entire system all along, that has made you doubt yourself, that has basically created a lot of chaos and a lot of pain in the past. Will now all make sense. Now, that said, there's also obviously now a consequence to this shift change, and that is something that is now visible in the collective. So we are officially in the times of awakening, and we all now know that awakening is not necessarily this sort of singing with the angels or holding hands and singing Kumbaya experience. Awakening is often quite harsh. It's an awakening to a truth that could not be seen before, partially due to these filters that I've already mentioned. Our ego, our sort of like primitive understanding of ourselves, and also due to the energetic weather conditions, or the overall weather conditions, just simply not ready. Not really being able to have the capacity to process the truth. All right, and this is changing now, so we can tell that spirituality has become much more mainstream, also more profaned and watered down, but this is always part of the process, yeah, whether it's a new technology or a new movement or whatever, you really have to go through several stages of children's diseases, as I always call this, until there's a sort of a strong enough core, yeah, a critical mass that allows for the entire collective to evolve along, that sort of overall evolutionary development. And we're not quite there yet, but it's important for us that we realize that many of our struggles in the past, how they relate to, us, already being, us already being aligned to this evolutionary wave, but not really, being able to express that right. So this is what you all need to internalize now. You need to internalize that there is a reason why you came here into this particular time as this pioneer of the new spiritually evolved time. You need to fully internalize this now and understand, yeah, that all these struggles, that they are not personal. This isn't personal. You wanted to be here for this time right now with your level of consciousness right now. Okay? You had to have all these experiences. Your higher self, made sure it's a highly curated process. Yeah, haven't been, born into some kind of toxic family constellation and having to deal with mommy and daddy issues and collective programming and gradually working your way out of this in full awareness. And especially here in these last years, really sort of learning to trust in the spiritual reality of truth. Yeah, understanding that there is something like an absolute truth. All right, once you learn to master, the issues with the physical reality, which is obviously the issues with the body, the issues with the ego, yeah, the thinking. Yeah, we have to master our free thinking, the issues with our emotions. We have to increase our emotional capacity to be able to, you know, get the bigger picture and understand that, some of the simple, what I called primitive earlier, concepts of the ego are basically, self-gain oriented, and self-gain and selfishness, yeah, as most of you know, because you have experience with what this feels like to be on the other end of this, yeah, to be with someone, to love someone who is selfish, yeah, is a very low vibratory momentum in a person's life, yeah, that creates a lot of karma. And you may have experienced the other end of this, or were afraid of experiencing, you know, this pain of being with someone who doesn't love you as much as you love them, or, who loves, or who's only capable of loving in a transactional way, or in this superficial way. So you may have experienced, you were on the receiving end of that pain, but it is exactly that pain that is now helping you to transmute this into a higher truth, into the absolute truth. And that has to do with what we will later discuss, the karma of love. Yeah, the understanding that we have an essence here that brought us into existence. And this essence is basically the currency, the true currency for manifestations, not our thoughts, not our willpower, not our body, yeah, but it is our capacity, to love beyond just our personal comfort beyond just our personal gain. So this is basically the next evolutionary state in which humanity is, as a whole, aligned to the well-being of the whole more than the individualistic or individual comfort, the individual well-being, but without the equalization or externalization of power, but in full awareness of our own spiritual identity. That's basically the next evolutionary state that you are pioneering here. So, on a practical level, July will be very, very interesting, intense, as so many of these past months in these past years. Yeah, that comes with, these transformative energies. They always polarize us from within. They always create schisms, create a great divide within ourselves. Yeah, on one hand, because we want the comfort, we want the security that the ego finds in its coping mechanism. On the other hand, we want to grow, we want to expand, we want to find our higher expression. So staying in our comfort zone prevents us from being able to go into higher expression. And that's a schism, guys. That's literally what we're all feeling as, the divide between the physical and the spiritual reality. Yeah, so this divide, we've been working on building the bridge between the material, physical, and spiritual, energetic reality, is being bridged now. We're beginning to see how they're coming together. We're beginning to realize that what we have been feeling as energetic reality is much more accurate than what we have been spoon-fed with as, sort of collectively accepted reality. This is quite shocking for us. So let's not forget that, even though we've known it all along deep down, it still is a little bit shocking. But at the same time, it's also relieving. At the same time, you can now relax. You don't have to prove truth anymore. Yeah, not that we ever had to, but with the spirit of truth, becoming sort of the dominating spiritual force in our reality, now directly confronting the forces that are going against truth, which is, I guess, what you would call, satanic. Okay, so we've decided, or we've learned to discern darkness in its duality already. So you already know that there's not like a Satan. There is a force, a trinity of forces of dark, just as there is a trinity of forces of light. And that trinity of dark forces works on one hand, through our harmonic forces trying to pull us further deeper into our material, sort of robotic, machine-like reality, and the luciferic forces as the ones that are trying to pull us out of the physical into, some imaginary, fantastical, spiritual reality, like a sort of the waterfalls and the unicorns. And the third force, the true antichrist force, that is basically trying to pull us out of our ability to form our spiritual identity. It basically directly attacks our ability to connect with Christ consciousness. So this is just, very, very briefly here, the what we are up against. And with the spirit of truth, a neutralization of all that occurs. And where does or how does this happen? A neutrality or a neutralization always happens through the middle always happens through, basically reinstating balance, reinstating sort of the core, the middle. In the last Connect with Your True Self session, I've used this analogy of the seesaw, literally standing right in the middle with both legs, in each of these realities, but being able to balance things out in real time. So that's what the spirit of truth um, brings in. This is not something that we per se are doing. This is something that is coming in through a higher spiritual reality. But because we have been aligning ourselves to this higher spiritual reality, we will feel this as support. It's basically sort of the artillery coming in, and helping us, to feel like we're finally over the hump. So here I wrote, or in the forecast I wrote, July will feel like you're finally getting somewhere. Well, until something unexpected happens. And that's just the current energetic weather condition for July, is that there's a lot of unexpected things that happen. So it's even more so important that we stay on, the exact sort of midpoint of reality, which is the absolute now, the present moment, and really think things through, feel things through, and remind ourselves that everything that we feel, that we think, that we say, that we do, the words we choose, the sentiments that we hold, conscious or unconscious, that they create an energetic reality. And that energetic reality needs to be reconciled with, needs to be dealt with. And that's also part of this new evolutionary phase, if you will, or stage, is that we recognize that we know that we understand the consequences of our thinking, of our emoting, of our acting, and even of our unconscious, like the stuff that we would call, the shadow, the inner child, and the karmic aspects, that we make those aware to us so that they cannot dominate. We accept them as part of our journey, not as sort of the cross that we have to carry, although in a way it is, because it is the cross in the 3D reality. The cross symbolizes the 3D reality that we chose in order to find and basically embody our higher expression here as part of our soul journey. So the conclusion is that the best way to proceed for July is, on one hand, to stand right in the middle, to not allow ourselves to get too polarized, especially not through our emotions, because July is a very emotional month, and to trust in our inner guidance, to trust in all the inner work that you have already done. To trust that this guidance will be there for you right at the moment you need it. Okay? So all this ruminating, all this futurizing and anticipating, stop that. Stop that. That will work against you. It always works against you, but in July, it will particularly work against you, and it will prove it to you over and over again, because it comes in with so many unexpected things in your personal life as well as in the collective. And therefore, I warn you to not overthink things, to not waste your energy on too much, like, and then I'm going to do this and if that, and this whole sort of regurgitating of what if, and you know that this is all sort of triggering your ego pathways. Okay, so the best really is to stand in the middle, stand in the present moment, and consciously work on increasing your capacity. Your capacity to work with reality, your capacity to process it, which in July particularly includes emotional capacity. Yeah, to really process your emotions, to not run away from them or avoid them or just project them out and, make others responsible. To really work on, I guess you could call it, increasing your heart's capacity for light. Yeah, to hold more light, to increase your inner container. Now, the images that are coming in when I speak this remind me of the Holy Grail, yeah, that space that we carry in our heart, the sacred space, the sacred heart, the furnace of all our soul transformation. Yeah, so keep that in mind. I'll give a few practical examples here later in the reading for those of you who are here live. So therefore, let's remember the meaning or the purpose of truth. Yeah, first of all, you know truth by the way it feels. So for anyone who is aligned to truth, the way truth feels will remind you of how love feels. Just not the romantic kind of love, but the kind of love that fills you, that makes you feel whole. And the way it comes in, the mechanics basically, is by allowing my energy to show me the truth at all times. And by giving myself more space to grow, I can learn to silence the fear of change and embrace the chaos as creative power. So this will actually be relevant for some of you. I'll point this out to you in the report here for your clearing and reading for July. Yeah, to embrace the chaos as creative power. Now, the resulting potential or opportunity, which is like a karmic reset, yeah, that occurs because we no longer need those experiences of the past. Now, this is particularly true for those of us who have, internalized that they are pioneers of a new, sort of evolutionary state, yeah, of humanity. Yeah, you already embodying what humanity will look like in the future. Yeah, you are literally now at a turning point in your life, no matter how old you are. And that allows you to realize that there is a loving higher power at work, that it has been at work at all times, not to judge you, but to gently nudge you to grow into your higher expression. You can feel in those words that there's a lot of sort of self-forgiveness that kind of reverberates in that. And self-forgiveness will be very important for some of you this month. It's always important for all of us, but it is something that we have to actively do. We have to do this willingly. We have to freely choose to say, I see this now. I understand this now. I couldn't see this before. I forgive myself for not being able to see this before. It's just like a 5-year-old who cannot see what a 20 or a 50-year-old can see, just due to the lack of life experience and knowledge. Yeah, so as we grow, as we go through our evolutionary development, we are increasing our knowledge, we're increasing life experience, and therefore our wisdom. So anything that we have chosen in the past now cannot really be judged by, what you see today. You have to understand that accepting karma doesn't mean that you have to suck it up. It means that you come to terms with it, that you understand, that the 5-year-old in you, or the 15-year-old in you, or the 25-year-old in you couldn't have chosen any different, couldn't have known any better. So the more actively you do this karma work, where you allow yourself, and this is mainly happens through etheric work, through the etheric training that I do with you, allows you to overcome the spatial and temporal restrictions of the physical reality. It allows you to travel back into your past. It allows you, to a degree, even to change your sentiments, and with it also the energetic reality of your past choices, no matter how much pain or struggle they created in your life. So it allows you to process and neutralize, your karma of the past while you're still alive. This is very significant here for the time to come. The more you will learn about the karma of love, the more you will understand how powerful that is. To be able to consciously overcome, and neutralize is not actually a good way of describing it, but to overcome, this, the polarity, the duality of your karma of the past, and to a degree create a new karma, to enter, a full sort of spiritual maturity by being aware of your conscious soul self, by being aware of your I am, and also fully internalizing the power that comes with this spiritual identity, and that is the free thinking. So etherically, this has enormous consequences. Positive, if you will, if you still, need to judge karma as positive or negative. It leads to an expansion. It leads to an evolution. And I called the forecast a revolution evolution, because this does not happen voluntarily for the majority of people. So while we are moving fast now into our higher expression internally, the collective, as sort of this virtual sort of cloud of humanity, is obviously just at the beginning of this and still needs to process all of that. Some of our countries have never even done a collective shadow clearing. The collective needs, much, more breakthrough energy. It needs to be much more. You know how this goes. In order for the pendulum to break free, it needs to, you know, get this like thrust, and this is coming in here in July, guys. So while internally, we are beginning to be okay with emotional reset and growing our inner capacity to hold light, and beginning to understand our role as pioneer. And many of you have already started to form more trusting connections with others, collaborations, understanding the power of sharing and reciprocal relationships. Now we've already gained more insights into listening, what listening to our needs means, and what makes us emotionally secure. It is my job to guide you too with that, and to prepare you for all of these things. So overcoming old patterns never happens easily, guys. I can assure you that even in my life, I just have a little more knowledge, maybe a little more life experience in some areas. Yeah, that's the only thing that distances me from you. But to fully break through a karmic process, there often is, sort of this confrontation with pain and love almost simultaneously. Don't know if you know what I mean, but it is a very, very interesting experience if you can do this in full conscious and spiritual awareness. Yeah, I just went through this with a very devastating loss on one hand. Yeah, as you know, I had to go through a very tragic death of my beloved young dog. And then at the same time, you know, due to the fact how I processed that, to be presented with a a gift, so to speak, like the makeover, the second chance. Yeah, and second chances, guys, are always so the opportunity, yeah, to not build karma. I don't know if this makes sense, but when you decide to reincarnate, remember this is actually your higher self that decides that. It's because there were some unfinished businesses, because there were some regrets, or there were some things where you realized you could have done this better. And if you can do this while you're alive, before you enter the death process, it is so much more powerful than when it has to happen through karma. Yeah, karma is the is universe's or God's insurance policy that there's at least a little bit of progress, that there's at least a little bit of evolution taking place. Yeah, and if you can do this consciously, guys, you don't need this type of karma that forces you through repetition, to break through old patterns. Especially this month's decoupling from the public and social pre-programming, yeah, the mind control and the media wars and the truth wars are in full operation, guys, in full operation. It's actually quite entertaining, yeah, if you are prepared for this and you understand, what the purpose of all this is. Yeah, this is not really, to to lead you into the wrong direction. It is, but it's not really the outspread. The media, is not aware of that the organizations and forces behind that are using the media for their purpose. The purpose of that is for you to stop sort of realizing the powers that you have. Yeah, it's basically to make you brain dead in a way, to prevent you from thinking for yourself. Yeah, and the way it does that is by spoon feeding, yeah, by repeating things over and over again. And we have this function of our ego mind that you're very aware of, yeah, where it begins to take things as reality, or accepts things as truth or truthful, just based on the number of repetition, just based on how often it you heard it. And we have some very, very famous examples. Yeah, Goebbels' propaganda during Germany Nazi time and Hitler's speeches that were highly curated used this function of the ego mind. Constant repetition, constant repetition. There's a formula to that. There's other politicians who are using this today. If you just pay attention, you can see this is clear as day. This has to do with creating neural pathways in you, yeah, that basically link you into the hive mind rather than you discovering that you are capable of your own insights, your own free thinking. This is what is at stake. I called this the war on our concentration. So please always remember that. But when it comes to the outer themes, and I know this is where most of you get scared, yeah, when I talk about, oh, this is big, explosive, and revolution and chaos and all these words, and your ego starts, contracting, and oh my God, and what do I need to do? And, so it's very important that you just really understand how things play out. Everything in the physical, in the material, in the collective, all right, is the outer expression of an inner process, of a process that happens in the spiritual reality first. That has already happened. You have already suffered through that. It is now merely the outer expression of that. So when what I call here shocking revelations, oh, I don't think they're that shocking for you, but they will be shocking for 9 out of 10 people. And most people aren't trained enough emotionally or mentally, intellectually. Yeah, especially the intellectuals aren't. This is the interesting part of all of this. Yeah, to feel the truth, yeah, or the hidden truths. So therefore, when we as a collective go through these transformative events, there is a sort of a reverberation on all levels of reality. Remember the physical, the emotional, the mental, intellectual, the spiritual, and then also the energetic. And this, is felt and experienced in these other realms as well, including, for example, the planet Earth, which is also nothing but its own consciousness, a higher vibratory or um, a higher spirit being, yeah, on this um, spiritual hierarchies framework, okay, that has to go through the big divide or this polarization that is now occurring and clashing as well. Which means, when I talk about explosive events or eruptive disruption, I see big earthquakes. Some of those earthquakes I've already explained to you, they're very natural. It's to be expected. It's the bigger picture here. For example, my own home country, the American and European tectonic plates are drifting apart. This is the polarity. And as that occurs, there's a rift that opens up. And as that rift opens up, magma gushes out as lava, yeah, and creates what? Creates new earth. So my home country is literally growing, literally becoming larger. But when that occurs, something else got to give. We look at the whole and we have to understand that when you have an earthquake, when you have a drifting apart on one part of the globe, that there's a plate that is crushing into another one, okay, and that is happening in other places of the world, for example, on the west coast of the United States. It's the same tectonic plate, yeah, that is moving westward. So I want you to understand that these things are very natural occurrences. They have to happen, but the timing of them is curated in such way that they come together. And I don't know, it's like 15 years ago I said, when this big transformation, this big awakening comes, what will happen is that we will have these chaotic energies in all areas of life. On the level of earth changes, yeah, we'll have massive changes in weather patterns, floods, storms, and earthquakes. We'll have an economic collapse, yeah, hyperinflation. I mean, 15 years ago, many of you remember this. I already predicted all this. This was already there in the spiritual reality, in the energetic reality. You could already read that. Yeah, it will bring about massive change for our relationships, for our, social life, for our social order, for our social values. All that has been there all along. And now, we're looking at where does this lead. So for you, spiritual seekers, it's very important to now see the bigger picture, where all this is going. The war of all against all is a necessary process that we have to go through. And please don't bore yourself with these kind of profanities of war. Yeah, flashing those images from World War II or World War One. This war is already going on, and it is not going to be fought like, say, in the Ukraine, which is the old-fashioned sort of theatrical form of war. We now, looking at a different kind of war. We're looking at a war in form of attacking our reality, attacking our, physical health, education, legal systems. Okay, yeah, where gradually, where we gradually sort of lose, the what we previously held as our security. Okay, so this is how this is going to go, and in the future you will also see that this will play out mostly on the level of your digital identity. So finding our identity, if you watch the forecasts for, until 2030, yeah, there's two videos. I would watch them together. One I recorded in 2022, and the other one I recorded just a few weeks ago. You can already see where this is headed. Okay, so there are certain things that we need to walk through now, yeah, that feel uncomfortable for our ego, but actually strengthen our spiritual identity. So don't be afraid of these things. The Codebreaker tool for July, Understanding the Karma of Love, will be a separate article and also workshop that I'm doing for you, because it requires us to understand some of the esoteric foundations, yeah, the mysteries of love and the mysteries of karma, in order to understand why this is relevant here. I brought this slide up because I wanted to remind you, and maybe that's something that those of you who were there in December 2023, to look at your notes. Writing notes of sessions, guys, increases your capacity for energetic and spiritual information. Even if you never read it. Now, in this case, I'm asking you to read it, but it is the formulation of these fleeting moments that you get when you tune into the spiritual reality. It's very, very powerful. This is what we do with the Energetic Training Club. You see this in the way I conduct, these energy trainings is very unique. I've never seen anybody else do it this way. Yeah, when we meet live, where you are being trained in certain frameworks that allow us to communicate these energetic things that we feel. Yeah, so if you don't know how this could possibly work for you, then maybe take advantage of my summer sale right now, because I'm giving 50% off all rates in the energetic training club. Yeah, with the monthly, it gives you free access to all sessions. Yeah, and there's like 2 to 3 sessions, maybe a week, including workshops, lectures, and clearing sessions. Uh, Keeps you on your toes. This coupon code also counts for the yearly rates. Okay, so this can be quite a good deal for some of you. So there we practice, okay, building the bridge between our energetic and material or physical reality through training our mind, through training our expressions, so that these things, these spiritual senses and organs that we have, not only grow and and cultivate and refine, but also that the feedback loop back to us becomes more stable and workable, so that we can use this for our personal manifestations. Truth is a feeling that reminds of love. Love requires freedom. Yeah. If there's no freedom, there cannot be truth, and if there's no truth, there cannot be love, and that's how simple that is. Yeah. Love is a voluntary action. It's an offering. Okay, and only then can it count, if you will, in the spiritual reality. Only then can it become the currency for your manifestations. The currency. And literally the power with which you manifest. But it has to be based on truth and freedom. It can't be based on dependencies or convenience or fear. Okay? Now that's the lesson. So, overall, again, you know me, I'm the eternal optimist. um, it's a very beautiful development, okay? To come to this new understanding of love and self-love is huge. Yeah, that's huge. That's coming out of your own internalized process due to you, the power of your consciousness. So that's wonderful. Yeah, you can see here, everybody, the collective vibrations, the collective weather conditions are, pointing at anger. Anger is an energetic resonance, better than fear, yeah, better than addictions, desire, better than grief. Okay, so it can help us muster courage. So it's not all bad. It's just that most people don't have um, the level of consciousness to recognize that anger is actually a really good breakthrough energy. Yeah, they will rather take it and project it onto others, and use it then for justifications or for blaming or for stuff that's not so kind. Yeah, which is what we're going to see a lot of in July. We're going to see things low, very low expressions in human behaviors. Just like how we did during the pandemic. Yeah, I don't know if this is aware to you all, but we saw a very, very low vibratory expression of humanity during the pandemic. How people went against one another, how people accepted, the destruction of their social life, um, and the distrust in their connections. I mean, it seems like ages ago, but really, this is all in us. Remember that. That's in everybody here. Yeah. And when push comes to shove, these things come forward. Yeah. When people get into their fight, flight, or freeze, then that's what they're showing up as. They're showing up as they're in their lower expression. So have realistic expectations. Understand which people even have the willpower, okay, to withstand, this collective projection of fear and anger. It's not many, guys. Yeah. So that's about the discernment of whom you can do things with. Now look at their values, look at their manifestations in life. It's quite simple, actually. Yeah, we all make mistakes and we all learn through them, and all that is not the point. This isn't about comparing, successes or anything. No, this is about how people react. when push comes to shove? Do they externalize? Do they blame? Do they paint themselves as victims? Do they, act selfish? Stay away from people like that. That will not align with you. It just won't. Don't try to convince them and try to make them better people. It won't happen. It's not their karma. Focus on the ones that do want that. That's a beautiful process. And that's then where we also release a lot of karma. Okay. Take good care of yourself now. This is very interesting in July, guys, because we are held to take good care of ourselves, of our own needs, especially our emotional needs. And it is almost like the more we take care of our emotional needs, which facilitates this growth of our heart space, the less difficulties we have. It becomes our currency. I don't know any better way to say it. It becomes the currency with which we then, sort of face, these chaotic things. And for many of you, this outer chaos turns into full-on creative outbursts, creative explosions and inspirations. Okay, so this is the duality of things. This is where the bifurcation can be seen. What is chaos and total destruction and drama and tragedy for one person, it turns out to be sort of the best thing that could have happened for another person. Yeah, always keep an eye on that. Energetic triggers in July, guys, quite a bit here. So this is what makes it such a turbulent and emotional month. Yeah, on one hand, we're feeling, the impulse here for an emotional reset and increasing our capacity for, processing, expressing, and self-regulating our emotions. But on the other hand, we're also feeling these strong impulses of, I've had enough. This is, I'm not doing this anymore. And so we need to push the emotional reset button, but maybe without getting too, without too many projections. Yeah, I'd see this as an inner revolution. Yeah, and then you can find resolutions there or reconciliation, as we just talked about here with the readings. This is an inner process. July, regardless of all the stuff that's happening on the outside, that's not something you can control. But July is a month of inner processing, of turning to your inner worlds, becoming better at reading and translating your inner notions, including your spiritual reality. So we have to learn how to stand in our physical and spiritual reality. All right, and that's then what can give us courage, to express our spiritual reality in 3D, to manifest those things that we have been dreaming of or that we have been wanting for so long. We're still sort of misaligned because we're not really understanding how, to really follow your heart takes a lot of courage. It's a different kind of courage than just pushing something through with your solar plexus willpower. It's a different kind, yeah. By the way, here in July, it's all about membranes. It's all about sort of the transitions between your chakras. Yeah, it's a transition between your second and third chakra, the transition between your third and fourth chakra, the transition between your fourth and fifth chakra. And in these transitions, there are these membranes. They are translators. That's where things, transmute or sometimes even transubstantiate. Okay, where they turn from one reality into the next reality. That's very, very important to understand. So when we look at the personal resonances that we will feel and the triggers that we'll feel in our own chakras or spiritual organs, okay, So there'll be a bit of an anger energy coming in that feels like no more repeat, no more. This is, I've had it, I'm done with it, that's it. And that is a very cool energy if we learn to translate it into this karmic reset where we see, okay, you know what, it's really time I stop doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Yeah, but we have to take full responsibility for it. We can't externalize it. We can't say, oh, it's because of the government or because of my ex or because of this or this or that. In that moment, you basically, you gave up the right to, not the right, we have the right, but, you gave up a lot of your power in that moment. You externalized it again. So in these transitions that I just mentioned, in these membranes, yeah, quite in a literal way, but here in an energetic way, these transitions between the chakras, that's always where the translation of these topics occurs. Yeah, so if I look at the translation from first to second chakra, that's where we can resolve inner child stuff and karmic um, aspects that affect our emotional processing. In the transition between our sacral, our second and third chakra, that's where we can transmute, the difference between, pushing into something, trying to push something through, just with power and control versus, conviction and determination that comes from your inner integrity and your your inner values. And then the transition of the membrane here between the third and the fourth chakra, that's where, this opening ourselves up for the greater reality and the greater good for all. They're the win-win. Yeah, how can I find solutions that are not just good for me and my self-gain, yeah, but also good for you? How can I find the middle ground? How can I find a good compromise? And then, here the transition between the fourth and the fifth chakra, yeah, the higher heart chakra, or the thymus chakra, that's where it's all about the actual expression. Yeah, it has a lot to do if I want, with expression, how I word things, how I approach people, how I present myself. Yeah, that has to be harmonized with my true goals, with my true values. It's about authenticity. And the same then here in the sixth and seventh chakra area, where it's about, our own inner vision and, perhaps also our energetic perceptivity, but also, aligned with the cosmic reality of things. Okay, so me manifesting, the best business in the world, and having other people work for me, and you know, having sort of maximum time and money, out of that is not actually something that is favored by the universe. Yeah, so the universe favors win-win-win. Okay, so that's something that we also need to start to realize, is that, what our society deems as successful, or like utilizing your manifestation energies, is often just solar plexus control, is often just a matter of overpowering. And we see this in the geopolitical scene, we see this in the economic areas of our lives, where it's all just about dog eats dog, and overpowering and using control mechanisms, as well as with our own governments, guys. So war, is an expression, a lower expression of that. Yeah, if I have to fight a war with another country in order to resolve a diplomatic issue or a political issue, then I'm not resorting to the higher good or the higher integrity that is possible. Yeah, I'm resorting to the lowest ones. Okay, and that is, then I'm going to show you, I'm going to punch you in the face, or my cannons are big, or my drones are faster, or something like that. So while, war is literally in our reality now and will be, yeah, for the next 2.5 years. Okay, it's not going to be like it used to be, so we don't need to be worried about that, but need to understand that these outer expressions are, the expressions of what we hold, what we, the confliction that we hold, the segregation and, the superiority and the selfishness that we hold within ourselves. Yeah, so wars and basically all things that happen in our civilizations are the outer expressions of inner processes, yeah, of our inner world, the outer mirroring of our inner world. So if you want to change the world, then I would suggest that you don't try to fight against it, because if you want to fight against it, you have to resort to these lower expressions again, but rather live and embody the higher model. Yeah, become a role model, become, a way shower, become a pioneer, show that it's possible. That activates more people and reaches more people's hearts than you pushing through, with your, whatever it is that you're affirming. Critical or important dates here in July, guys. I will have to do some updates as we go just to give you a bit better understanding, but we should definitely look at the time of the new moon. Okay, here on July 5th, right after 4th of July celebrations, there were some harmonic aspects that are coming in, yeah, that bring about sort of an emotional reset. Okay, so there's something that we've had here in the last year and a half. I don't know if you guys were aware of it, but we had the the full moon before the new moon. So it made us feel like there's constantly something that we need to clean up, that we need to clear. We were constantly trying to sort of just catch up on things and always feeling behind. So this is reset here in July. Yeah, from here on, I think in the next 14 months or so, you can ask your trusted astrologer. We're coming into a more natural cycle with the moon energies, namely that we put in the seeds first, and then we get some time to nurture it and correct it maybe, and then we look at the results, and then we clear things out again, and so this is a bit more natural and process, and will make us feel like we can relax a little bit. We can be calmer about things. We can, we don't always have to push so hard. Okay, until the next unexpected thing happens. So this is the characteristic here of the main characteristic of July energies, is that there's a lot of expected things, explosive, disruptive things that we will see. Another period for your attention, and this is more like negative attention, is, well, I mean, this entire time between July 12th and 18th, 19th, actually. 19th is comes with a little bit more insight, but there is this revolution, evolution area, energy, very, very strong oppositional and disruptive forces at work, guys. And it would be shocking. But like I wrote in the forecast, these things have always been there. And for many of us, it will also feel kind of relaxing and calming, because we finally see all the things that we have been feeling all along confirmed. So we no longer have to feel like outcasts. Overall, the month of July is really about increasing our capacity, our ability to process emotionally and spiritually, especially. So those of us who have been training this, who have a prepared mind, and have worked with their pain body and their karma and their shadow aspects, we'll find this a very, very positive month. You'll finally sort of become able to find yourself. But those who are just now awakening to all these truths that were always there, but that most of us were blinded, okay, to be able to see them. You might feel so shocked and so angry about having been lied to that it's hard for you to regulate that. So what I mean to say with this is that forgiveness and self-forgiveness is very, very important now, because when these disruptive things happen, and when our ego is forced to get pulled out of its comfort zone, we don't always show up the best way. Okay, so the ego is selfish, and it makes you, it makes you translate, your actions into your lower expressions. It means it overall lowers your vibration, and then you also become more susceptible for dark energy. So I want you guys to keep this in mind, that forgiveness and self-forgiveness, especially toward the end of the month. So the full moon is, July 21st, 22nd. It's very beautiful spiritual reset that can help you, to spiritually reconcile and find more trust in yourself. Okay, but until then, quite a lot of stuff that's going down, guys. Yeah, I'm even seeing a possible hurricane here for Florida. So yeah, and earthquakes, of course. Very, very probable this month that the big earthquake, the one that we have been waiting for, that I referred to here at the beginning of the forecast and energy analysis on the West Coast, is happening this month. All right, guys. Other than that, I would like to close here with, reminding everyone of the disciplines of truth. So, truth and consequences means to become aware of the consequences of your choices. Yeah, and there's an absolute truth in that, and it comes with responsibility. So if you are aligning yourself to truth, and the things that come with that, the freedom of thinking and the freedom, the free love, if you will, the love that is freely given, okay, then you don't need to worry about anything. But if it's difficult for you to discern truth, if you're still, sort of hanging on to old mindsets and old paradigms, then that's going to be rough for you here, this awakening in the next 2 years. Yeah. But that's also where people like myself, coaches, healers, therapists come in, to assist you in your self-healing. So if you wish to have a personal energy coaching session, like a consultation, you know how this works and so forth, then please email me or use the link on my website. Go to my YouTube channel, check out any of the, 800 videos or so that I have put up there, talking about spiritual concepts and the practical aspects of that. Ask for my free chakra charts. There is a link that I will put up here on the comments for this video, that where you can sign up, and you will get an automatic email with my chakra charts, my updated ones. Oh yeah, one last thing. We talked about the membranes. Okay. You need to pay attention to your nervous system, because you really, really don't want to get into that fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah, where your autonomous nervous system is dominating the show. And those of you who have a tendency to suffer from arthritis or sinusitis or any of these, things that these ailments in your body that show up when membranes are under duress, okay, including your heart, okay, then you need to be careful. Yeah, there is so much going on right now that reverberates through, our physical reality into our spiritual reality, and it happens through these membranes. If you know an acupuncturist or someone who's trained in Chinese medicine, then they can maybe give you a little bit more information than just these little slides that I brought up here for you. Also, please check my website. There is a 50% off coupon for the Energy Training Club, all rates, including the yearly rate, which is quite a nice offer. And there is a 25% coupon for the new Advanced Energy Healer training that starts in October. Check my website, scroll all the way to the bottom. That's where you see all the courses and sessions that are coming up. That gives you a little bit of an idea. And also come to our free online meditations on Skype. There's a discussion community going on. I'm always super happy to see new faces or new names there. Yeah, so thank you so much. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy healer, energy coach, and therapist, and I've been doing this for over 20 years and have many different courses that can allow you to have your own inner experience of your spiritual self or your higher self. I work on etheric, astral, and physical levels with you, so please feel free to request your free initial energy coaching session with me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Truth. To the love and peace within, I dedicate myself. I am one with my true self, the part in me that is unchanging, eternal, and infinite. I embrace change as evolutionary path of my being and trust in my true self to guide me on how to unfold my highest potential. I accept life as a learning experience, the Alpha and Omega of divine consciousness transforming all, and feel nothing but gratitude for any opportunity to grow through it. I am willing to embrace all my feelings and emotions and accept them as part of my inner truth. I am willing to let go of all false self-projections and to believe that acceptance has to come from the outside. Rejection can only resonate with me if I am not true to myself. Now, I am willing to see all as is, and I volunteer to give truth a permanent voice in my heart. For this, I consciously align myself with inner truth, my body, my emotions, and my thoughts. I want to feel when I am reacting to inner triggers. I want to feel when I am caught in my fear. I want to feel when I am projecting or absorbing energies. And I want to feel when I need more space to center myself. By allowing my energy to show me the truth at all times, and by giving myself more space to grow, I can learn to silence the fear of change, embrace chaos as creative power, and communicate my boundaries more clearly. Finally, I can feel my true needs and true wants. I know the truth by the way it feels. I have nothing to hide or defend. My intention is to be authentic and real so that I can be centered, calm, and non-reacting. I dedicate my energy to being open to all new learning experiences in alignment with my higher goals at the highest level of protection. Through the power in my heart, I herewith clear all attachments, limitations, resistances, energetic ties and karmic binds in any dimension or time to any person, entity, or ego illusion. Nothing and no one has the right to violate my truth or soul integrity. I no longer enable life-degrading energies in and around me. And I choose to consciously strengthen my ability to sense anything or anyone compromising my trust in self by seeking the sacred space of my inner guidance. Now and at all times. I love who I am. I am sacred to myself. Higher self, you are sacred to me. I appreciate you. I can feel you every time I choose to feel you. Thank you for always being there for me and for showing me my center, the seat of my inner power. Also, thank you for my energetic sensitivity, as it shows me when I need to stand my ground and when I need to let go, when I need to self-correct, and when I need to heal. Keep showing me the path to my heart. and encourage me to embrace and express how I truly feel whenever appropriate. I want you to be the voice of my heart, and only you. Let me hear your voice and empower me to trust that I can make the right decision at the right time. Show me my projections. Show me where I need more truth so that I can live with the consciousness of loving myself and standing my ground without fear. With truth in my heart, I can be present at all times, in any dimension or time, and enjoy the dance of energy within and around me as a witness of being alive. I can truly rest in my heart, as all there is left to do is to live and create my life in the love and light of truth. Thank you.